Hey, how you doing, Bill?
Nice to see you.
Nice to be here. Thanks. Thanks for doing this.
Listen.
Finally, after all these years on the nets.
Yeah.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I couldn't do it without the great support that I've gotten from the CWOPs organization, of which I'm a member, a lifetime member of that group. And we'll wait for another couple of minutes for people to come. But as a brief overview, I was just wondering how I could give back to the ham community and the other clubs that I belong to. I had my own, before I joined CWOPs, I had my own way of teaching code for beginners, intermediates, advanced, to get speed up, to specifically get it to the point where people could copy in their head. And then I realized once I joined the CWOPs group, they had a fantastic course curricula to help CW operators become more efficient, to teach future CW operators Morse code. And there's a method that's just wonderful. It's actually fun learning. And my idea, when I talked to Paul, at first I thought I was going to do it myself. But when I talked to Paul and I got thinking about it, well, you know, maybe depending how many people we get, maybe we'll just have them sign up for the CW Academy Ops course that the CW Ops organization. Hello, Ray. That the CW Ops, welcome. This is Ed, AB1CW. We're just getting started here. So long story short, I thought, okay, CW class, I can offer it. I'd be happy to teach it. But I thought CW Ops organization, we have a guest from California I'm going to introduce in a minute, and he's going to talk about the basic course and the program. He's actually the author of all of the course materials and method that CWOPs organization uses in CW Academy to teach Morse code. And it's really an interesting curriculum. So anyway, getting back to this, the classes are full. I'll be honest with you, CWOPs has been around a long time, and they've got a lot of successful folks that are operating CW, and they're increasing their speeds and their skills in all facets of Morse code, which includes contests, it includes rag chews, all sorts of things. What I like about it is you can talk about your wife and she never knows what you said. No, I'm kidding. You know, I love that. I love that. But anyway, Paul told me there was an interest. And it doesn't matter whether you've never sent a DIT or never sent a character in Morse code, or if you've been fiddling with it, or you are at 5 or 6 words per minute already. I decided to step up since the courses were full. I asked our guest, Rob Brownstein, if he would trust me to teach the course material, the basic course, to the club and surrounding area, depending on the interest. So very shortly here, I'm going to let Rob go and say hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited about this. Once you decide if this is for you, you can email me at ab1cw@arrl.net. And once you hear all about the course, you've got to make a commitment. I made a commitment. It's 8 weeks of training, but there are some things that you're going to need, and there are some requisites to join in the course. Number one, this is going to be fun. And I'm going to let Rob get into this a little bit. So let me see who we have here. We have Bill, we have Ray, we have Steve. Good evening, Steve. We have, is it William or Bill? What do you prefer, Mr. Lyons?
Oh, Bill, please.
Okay, Bill. And so we've got quite a little.
Give us 10 minutes, 10 seconds each to introduce ourselves.
All right, let's do a 10-second introduction. I'm Ed, AB1CW, and I'm going to be the instructor for the 8-week course on Morse code using the CW Academy basic training.
All right, let me take it. Paul, W1SCX in Gardner. And if my life depended on it, I could do a 5-word per minute QSO, even though I'm a medium code extra. I did pass my 13 words per minute, but life intervenes and I really need to unlearn some old habits. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of this course.
Okay, Bill?
Yeah, Bill N1UZ, currently the president of the Mohawk Amateur Radio Club for the second time around. And I'm very grateful that Ed stepped up and said that he would do a CW course. I have not decided yet if I'm going to do it because I don't have a whole lot of time and I don't know code at all, even though way back in 1998, I think, I passed my 13 words per minute. But that was only because I memorized the test, having flunked it so often. But anyhow, okay, who's next on the intro? Charlie, go ahead.
Charlie, why don't you go ahead and pick it up?
You want me to pick it up?
Yeah, Charlie, introduce yourself and let us know a little about you.
I'm not sure if I'm doing this right here.
You're fine.
Perfect.
I'm Charlie, KT1I, and I live in Boulder, Hampshire. An old 20-word a minute extra. I was at 20 for a very short time. I probably more comfortable 15-ish nowadays. And I'd like to pick up my speed. I'm sort of interested in getting into some CW contesting. I have been doing it using whatever it is, the computer thing.
Be tight.
Yeah, it works. And, basically at 35 words a minute, I have no hope that I'm going to copy everything at 35 other than, my call sign, thank you, etc. But anyhow, that's what I wanted to do, pick up my speed a little bit.
Okay, who's next? Ray?
Oh, I guess so. I'm Ray, KB1LRL, and I am the Western Mass Section Manager. And I've been no code since I got my license in 2004, so I consider myself a no code extra nuisance. It was a no code general nuisance, but I finally got that hurdle out of the way. I've been always wanting to do CW. I've got keys that I'm sitting there looking at and admiring, and it would be certainly nice to put them to practical use. I've got the ARRL Morse code CDs, and I can't tell you how many times I probably get about a third of the way into it, and I'm falling asleep. So I've never really gotten into learning it. I know some of the characters, but I need to piece it all together so I can start utilizing it on the air. That's my life story.
Hey, Ray, are you new?
That's funny. Too much information, Bill. Crazy group. Who's next? Is there anybody else up, or is this it right now? Rob Coleman?
Okay.
Yeah, I made the mistake of hoping that my non-Macintosh computer would start up, and of course it's decided to croak. So I've got my my 13-inch laptop here that I'm playing with, and I got Zoom set up on that. Yeah, I also started trying to learn the code back in the late 90s, and took a couple of tests and failed. But then when the no code technician came out, I got that, and then I got the general. I wanted to go to code. I've joined the North American QRP club, NAQCC, and I used their QSL cards. But I also went through the CWOPs course once. I still have the manual, and
Awesome.
yeah, this was done by Rob Brownstein.
That happens to be our guest this evening. Actually, I got him in person here. So it's,
Fantastic.
I think we've got. Well, thank you for joining anyway. Very much. Todd, have you gone yet? I think you're the last one.
I might be.
Oh,
So I'm Todd, K1TKS in Westminster. I've been a ham for just about exactly 1 year. So, and like Ray, I'm a no-code extra. So, looking forward to learning, you know, how to communicate via CW.
Steve?
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, great. N9SC Steve, I live in Hardwick. I've been a ham for 54 years. Got my extra by taking the 20 words a minute code in 1980. I guess I had my code speed up to around 30 words a minute at one time. I occasionally get on, but I'm nowhere near the speed I was at an earlier age. So anyway, I just thought I'd log in today, see what we had, see if I could get into the groove again. Always enjoyed CW. I mean, I can still copy, but not at the speeds that I once did. So
That's awesome. Steve, thank you so much. For me, I started CW with flashlights. I got my license when I was 12, which is 60 years ago. I got very excited by CW, and by then it was a requirement for the novice license, and a requirement for general, and a requirement for extra. I'm an extra class operator. Right now, I'm somewhere around, my top speed was close to 50 words. But you don't write anything down at that speed. you know, the brain has to do something to it. But now, I mean, I've been off the air a couple of years. I just got back on, and I'm down around somewhere between the top speed of around 30, maybe 35. But I love it. And one of the great things about this we're going to start with the basic course, and then if you want more, we can arrange that. But I'm really excited because this curriculum, I'm going to just turn it over to Rob Brownstein. Rob Brownstein is an instructor. He also wrote the course materials for the CW Academy courses that's presented by the CWOPs. And if you don't mind, Rob, I'm just going to let you pick it up, and then we can have a Q&A at the end of it, and we can go over, you know, what they're looking forward to.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Ed. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So let me give you a quick history of how we got where we are. And by the way, I had a chat with Ed earlier today, and right after I was in a meeting on Zoom with the CW Academy Advisory Group. We currently have 80 advisors. We've taught 6,000 people since 2012, and we typically have between 600 and 800 students a semester. So it's become quite the thing. And when I started it, there were three advisors and about 11 students. So it's really come a long way. The club CWOPs, which sponsors CW Academy, was begun on January 1, 2010. So it's literally just a little over 10 years old. And there were about a dozen of us who decided to start the club. And we had some ideas about what we wanted it to be, what its mission would be. And one of the things was to preserve Morse code in ham radio. And probably 6 months after we started, the ARRL had the rookie roundup thing that they do, you know, with RIDI and CW and sideband. And one of our founding members, W1RM, who's in Connecticut, made the mistake of doing rookie roundup. And the next day he was just, oh my God, these people are terrible. They don't know what they're doing. We really ought to have some kind of a thing to teach people how to do Morse code. So what we started out doing was tried to create a kind of a dating service where people that needed help would tell us what days and bands they were available and what times, and people who could give them help. did the same thing, and then we tried to match them. Didn't work. Did not work. So we started doing what we're doing now, and it's evolved considerably. But essentially, what we did was say we're going to have a bunch of people, volunteer advisors, and we're going to solicit signups from people who want to learn, and they know what days and times, and we'll match them up. And that's how it began. Now, originally, it was meant to be for people who had already learned Morse code and just wanted to improve. When we opened up the gate to allow signups, 3/4 of the signups were beginners. And we didn't have a beginner's course. So they said, we need a beginner's course. And that's when I created what was then known as Level 1. Today it's known as Beginners. And then we had 3 classes that were all 8 weeks long, Level 1, Level 2, Level 3. And in the course of 3 8-week classes, we took you from knowing 0 to being able to head copy 25 words a minute and do contests at 30. What? Yes. Now, to put that in perspective, I got my license in 1958 at the age of 11. I didn't get to 20 words a minute until 1970. It took me 12 years. And now we get people to 25 in less than a year. And the program is, we borrowed from a lot of different things, Koch methods and so on and so forth. But essentially what we did was distill it down to something that was doable. And we start with a beginner. We added a 4th course now known as Basic. I'll talk about that in a second. Then we have Intermediate, and then the last class is Advanced. So we now have 4 8-week programs to get you from 0 to 25 or 30 words a minute. And it works. Yes.
I think I meant to say we're going to start with the beginner class.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
So
Thank you.
let me talk a little bit about the beginner class, because that was going to be the one that served 3/4 of the people that was signing up. And they were everywhere from people who knew no Morse at all to people who were stuck at 10 or less, 10 words a minute or less. So everybody that did beginners started from scratch again and got rid of all the old habits and learned new ways of doing things. Let me just demonstrate a little bit about session 1 of the beginner course. We start with 4 letters. T, E, A, N. T, E, A, N. Okay. And we send them at 20 words a minute.
Can you turn the sound up a little bit, Rob?
Sure. Yes. Hang on.
Thank you.
That better?
Yes.
Okay. So T, E, A, N. Can make a lot of words with T, E, A, and N. But the key thing is you need to get away from this idea that Morse code is a language. It's not a language. It's an alphabetic encoding and decoding method. What Morse code is like is saying to Steve, Steve, E-A-T, A-T, T-E-N. That's about 23 words a minute, by the way. Did you get that, Steve?
I did.
Yeah, what did I say?
Well, do it again.
E-A-T, A-T, T-E-N.
Eat
A-T,
at 10.
T-E-N.
Eat at 10.
Yeah, eat at 10. Now, didn't take him very long to do that, and that was, like I said, at over 20 words a minute. Eat at 10. But I spelled it out, because that's what we do with Morse code. We don't send words, we send letters and numbers. Okay, so what happens is, in the beginning, most of us can do what Steve just did. Let me give you another one. I'll do it with Ed. Ed, how about A-T-E, A-T, T-E-N? 8 at 10, right. Okay, so We can all do that. We can all copy letters that are said, that are spoken at over 20 words a minute and do it in our head. What we need to do is get people to recognize that this is the same thing as saying E-A-T-A-T-T-E-N. And when you can hear E-A-T, you're there. Pattern recognition. We start with 4 letters. We send the word net, 10, at, eat, 8. And we do it with letter speeds of 20 words a minute from day 1, whether you know Morse code or don't know Morse code. 20 words a minute. Why 20 words? We don't want you counting dits and dars. We want you hearing patterns. So that's key. But we do Farnsworth delay. So in the beginning, I don't send it 20 words a minute, which would sound like this. I do this. So you get used to it. Then we shrink that space, and all of a sudden, one day you're hearing, and your brain is seeing E-A-T-A-T-T-E-N. That's it, in a nutshell. Second session, so the first session that you have on day 1, you learn those 4 letters, you learn a bunch of words, you learn a few short phrases, eat at 10, 8 at 10. Second session, same week, you learn a couple of more letters and the first 2 numbers. Now I explained to the people in the group that the numbers are the only thing in Morse code that has any order to it at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we don't do it that way. We don't want you thinking, was that 2 dits and 3 dars? We want you hearing patterns. So the first 2 numbers you learn are 1 and 4. Now, by that second session, with 2 numbers and a bunch of letters, I can also start sending call signs. And 1 EA. So from the very first week of the very beginning program, you're learning letters, numbers, call signs, words, and phrases. Not just copying, but sending. So when you meet with your advisors on Monday and Thursday night or whatever you guys decide to do, he might say, okay, Steve, what's this word? And Steve says 10. Great, okay. Bill, what's this word? Net. Okay, terrific. So he's assessing how you did. If he sees somebody that's confusing A's and N's, he might say, look, you know what you need to do? I want you, between now and the next time we meet, I want you to send the word Anna 5 times. Every time you start your lesson. You do that 5, 10, 15 times, you can know A's and N's. Trust me. Okay, so that's really what the advisor's role is. You're learning it on your own using our tools, and your advisor is assessing how you're doing and helping you over hurdles. And that's it. At the end of 8 weeks, you know all the letters, all the numbers, some punctuation, call signs, and you've even had some introduction to QSO format. We call it first, second, and third exchanges. First exchange, your RST is, QTH's name is. Second exchange, weather, rig, maybe age. Last exchange, thanks for the QSO, 73, see you later, boom. So we don't call that a third exchange, we call that a wrap exchange. But you could have a first, second, 11th, 14th, and then do a wrap exchange. That's called a rag chew. At the end of that first class, you're going to be right at the cusp of being able to do that, but you may not have a lot of experience. And so between then and the next class, you work on getting some of that experience, and then you move on. Now, we have a bunch of things that we do to help you do that. We have a program called Giving Back, where there's a bunch of CWOPs volunteers, myself included, who get on 1 or 2 or 3 days a week at 7 o'clock, their local time, and make QSOs at moderate speeds. You know where they are. You know what their call signs are. You can find them. If they don't get called, they answer somebody else's CQ. QSO practice. In the month of July, we did 125 different call signs in Giving Back. 125 QSOs in 1 month of this voluntary program. So that's one of the things that we do. We also have an event every Wednesday called CWT, which is not for the faint of heart. Goes at speeds of 30 and 35 words a minute, but it's contest-like, and it's grown to a point where there's 3 events every Wednesday, 1 hour long. One is at 1300 Zulu, 1900 Zulu, and 0300 Zulu, and we typically get 250 participants in that hour. Very, very popular. So people that have gotten through the advanced and they've gotten into contesting, there's still more stuff. You can do CWTs every week and become a whiz kid like Ed and get up to 40, 45 words a minute. It's your choice. It's whatever you want to do. Now,
No, I'm heading to CWT as soon as I can.
there you go. Now, the thing that we don't do is we don't put operating preferences on you. We don't say, hey, Steve, if you don't want a contest, you're not a ham. Hey, Charlie, if you don't do QSOing, you're not a ham. No, we don't. We give you the skills to do rag choose. We give you the skills to chase DX. We give you the skills to do contesting, and you do whatever you want, whatever you enjoy. We just want to make sure that you never say, I can't contest, I don't know how. Yes, you do. You don't want to, but you know how. Oh, you're right. Okay. So that's in a nutshell what we do. Now, to get to Ed's situation, he wrote me, I think last week, and he said, I'm going to try to put this group together. Is there a chance I can get these people into the September semester? And the answer was no at that point, because all the classes were filled. But we love it when local clubs have enough people in the club to do it on their own using our tools. So I said, Ed, please be my guest. Do the beginner class, use all our stuff. When you're done and they graduate, let me know their call signs and names, and we'll send you certificates that you can give them for completing the beginner's class. So
Awesome.
he's ready to go.
Yes,
He's ready to go. So
Hey, Rob,
let me stop at that point and ask if anybody has any questions.
I got a couple. You keep on saying Ed. I see Howard. I'm taking Howard is actually Ed.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Howard is Ed. Edward's my middle name, and make this
Take it
short.
out.
My wife's English, and she refused to call me Howard because she met somebody in high school or English high school named Howard that she hated. So from the day I got married 50 years ago, it's been Edward or Ed. What can I say?
All right. Well, we got that figured out because I see Howard Miller up there, and you kept on saying Ed. And I'm looking all over the screen here.
Well, that means that you're paying attention.
You also said
It's also a lot easier with
my
it
hearing
dotted
is
in.
good. So I'm hearing a little bit better too.
Also, let me tell you, we don't just teach people how to copy perfectly sent tier type stuff, like we also
Eat.
send with bugs so that they hear bug QSOing and, using tiers and so forth. Now, Howard did say to you guys that there are some things that you're going to need if you're going to do this, and there are. You need a paddle. Doesn't matter whether it's single or dual lever, because we don't teach you to send using iambic. We want you to do non-iambic. Why? Because no matter whose house you go to and whatever kind of paddle and whatever kind of key they're using, if you know how to send non-iambically, you can send. That will work. But if you've learned to squeeze key and you go to somebody's house that has a single layer paddle, forget about it. You're going to be like 2 left feet on that keyer. So we want you to learn non-iambically. If you want to learn to squeeze, be my guest. I know how, I just never do it.
Rob,
Yeah.
by non-iambic, I've never really heard that term. What you mean is they may have a paddle, but instead of holding it to do a C, like, you know, dash
So
dot.
if I hold my paddle,
Yep,
if I squeeze my paddles, this is what it sounds like.
right.
That's iambic.
That's iambic, yep.
So if I start with a dit and then close the second one to get a daw and
Yep.
keep my finger on the dit, I can do an R. But I can also do an R by going dit, daw, dit. And you can't tell the difference.
You can't.
However, if you go to somebody's house who's got an iambic setup and you send non-iambically, it'll work.
It does work. That's, now I understand what you mean. So
Okay.
I can demonstrate, you know, just like E's and T's
Right, right.
and
So that's
R's.
what, so that's what we do. So you need a paddle, and it doesn't matter what kind, and you need a keyer. Now you may have one already in your radio, and if you can hear that keyer through your speaker, that's good enough. Your webcam will pick up that sound, and people will be able to hear your sent code. What I'm
Just make
doing
sure
right
you're
now,
not
you're
transmitting.
right now you're listening to my K3 speaker and its internal keyer. Okay,
It's
so
RV.
yeah, so that's it basically, and you need internet. You need a webcam and some kind of internet capability, which you all obviously have because you're here. So that's it in a nutshell. It is fun. It's a lot of fun. Very satisfying when you get through the 8 weeks and you go, holy mackerel, I can't believe what I've learned. But it's going to take work. Every week you have 6 assignments for 6 days of the week. You meet twice a week with your advisor. You have 3 days before that meeting, 3 days to the next meeting. And so if you don't do it and you just go to the meetings, you're not going to learn Morse code. It's not going to just sneak its way into your head. It's something that you have to acquire with work. But it's fun work. And it's very satisfying when you get there. It really is. So, again, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Howard, Ed, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate it. I really do, and that you took time out of your day and your schedule to step up. I'm so thrilled about the program and being able to be an advisor and help out with this. And if this works out and there's no spaces available in the basic when it comes along, I'd be happy to step up for that as well. But I don't know that you allow that.
There would have been time if you had got a hold of me in July, no
Yeah.
problem.
I
It's
know.
just that when you start to get up against the edge of the beginning of a semester, everything's full.
Right.
Do you know that there's right now 232 people signed up for January 2021?
Wow. Wow. Okay, so we'll wrap it up with this. Paul and I will be sending out information to all of you. I would like to get emails based on Rob's presentation. I'd like to get emails from those people that have attended, and even some that don't, because we have this recorded, and I hope you didn't mind.
That's fine.
Rob, they recorded this so we could show it again at the club meeting or something. We do have expectations A lot of the learning is on your shoulders. I'm an advisor, and I'm here to help you over roadblocks, give you suggestions if things aren't working out. But you'll be given assignments every week. So you'll have a session. Basically, you'll have an assignment for the 2 sessions during the week. And we kind of expect, and it's our standards, that you attend every session unless you have an emergency or something comes up. Life gets in the way sometimes. But we'd like you to commit to that 8 weeks of training. I'm committing to the 8 weeks of training. It'll be about a 1-hour Zoom meeting that we'll do to go over the segments. Now, I can send you a list of things that you're going to need. I mean, this is a Kent key. It's a single paddle. And what he was talking about in iambic is just tapping the sides of the paddle. And it doesn't matter whether there's two paddles here, two levers or one. If you're sending like this, a long tone, a short tone, and short, long, short, it's just a matter of going back and forth. You can use your transmitter. I have a 10 Tech that I use. I just turn the power down to 0 and I'm able to transmit. There's a transmit lockout. You want to make sure you do that. But so there is a commitment from you folks, and I'm really excited for those of you that decide you want to continue. If you send me an email at ab1cw at arrl.net, Paul and I will put a list of things where you can get a paddle if you want it, the type of paddles that are available. Paul's already published a list, and I won't hold you on here longer than you want to stay, Rob. You need to let us know.
That's fine.
Ed, let me go through some of those examples.
Okay.
All right.
Let me turn it over to Paul.
All right, thank you. Here's an MFJ. All right, paddle. Again, we're doing 20 words per minute, so trying to do this with a straight key really isn't practical. There's all kinds of different keyers. This is an MFJ model. It's an older one. With the single paddle stuff, you want to start looking at the used stuff if you want to. There's an old Heathkit HD10. They're very plentiful on eBay for very reasonable prices, but that's not an iambic type. The HD 1410, this is my favorite actually, and but you got to do a little bit of work for this. Let me share my screen with you, and I've got some examples here on the on some of the stuff that's on the market. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of expense to get into this if you don't want to. For example, there's that MFJ key. Everybody see that? We good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So here's the MFJ, for example, for a key. We also have a different one, and $120, $24 for keyers. I guess the equivalent to the one I showed you, right, is $120. It has memories in it so that you can store parts of conversations, make your sending easier. That's great for contesting, right? Here's an inexpensive keyer. And the bonus on this one is not only that it's $35, but it's a kit. You get to build it too. If you want to buy the pre-made one, that's okay too. And then you can buy. What's that? Say again, Bill?
What's the name of that kit?
That's the Ultra Pico keyer from Ham Gadgets. I'll send the links out for these. And of course, it's not an endorsement for anyone in particular. It's just examples. And of course, when you hit your eBays and so forth, you'll get more examples. All right.
Yeah, let me just add that, if you look in eHam or one of these other books at some of the used paddles, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And if you want to get new equipment that you don't want to spend a lot of money, Vibroplex makes something called a Code Warrior Junior, which is a very nice little paddle. It's under $100. And MFJ makes a keyer called the Econo keyer, which is also under $100.
Yeah, good suggestions there too. And I might add also, and then back to Paul if you have more, that there are resources on the CWOPs.org site. And one of the things for my students that want to join is there is CW trainer software that already has all of the lessons and segments on it that you can download. You can either do it offline or you can do it online and practice all of the segments right with this trainer that's free. You can donate. They probably appreciate a donation, but there's no requirement to donate. And that is also underneath student resources. All of the assignments are under student resources. And I'll tell you more about it once I hear from you via email. Paul's been so great. I want to thank Paul for helping me do this, and Bill for helping me promote this. I really appreciate those guys. And Rob, I don't know what to say. Thank you. So
My pleasure. I'm gonna head out, guys. I wish you all the best of luck. Ed, I'm sure you're gonna do a great job, and you guys, I'm sure you're really gonna enjoy it. So have fun, and I'll be checking in with Ed from time to time to see how things are going.
Rob, where are you located?
Santa Cruz, California.
Gotcha. Thanks.
All righty. Take care, guys.
take care, Rob. Thank you very much. Okay, Paul, you got some more stuff? Or are we about at the end of the limit of patience for me and everyone?
Okay, no, we're pretty much good. The QSO today, Ham Expo, had a session on CWOPs from one of the persons there, and what I'm going to do is I'll send a link to the QSO today, Ham Expo.
Great.
You do have to register, but it's still available until September 9th if you want to tune into that. And so we'll do that. And I'll also send out the links to the examples that I presented earlier. I'll send those to Ed, and then Ed could add the links for this stuff that you've got to download for the class. Don't forget to send Ed your commitment email letter so that we can get the class established, and we'll move on from there.
Okay, that's great, Paul. Thank you. I'm planning to start the first class, or the class, on September 14th. I don't know if anybody will be on vacation, but the plan is to do it on Mondays and Thursdays, except for club meeting nights. And on that week where we have a club meeting night, it'll be a Tuesday and a Thursday, but I'll publish that in a Google Calendar for those who want to join the class, and make sure that you know the dates and times that we're going to meet. And I'll send links. Paul, I believe I have the email that you sent me with the links in it, but not the links for the QSO. So if you want to resend that, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, we'll do, Ed.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for attending and listening, and I hope this is something you'd like to do. I'm raring to go to teach this, and I guess I will say a fond good evening. 73s, which is, and you'll be
72 when you operate QRP.
that's true. That would be, sorry. Yeah.
And
Having an Altoid, having the whole setup right inside the box.
Yeah.
Got the keyer, the little iambic keyer.
Hold it up a little higher there, Bill. Awesome. I know that. I built one of those years ago.
Yeah.
It works. It's 1.5 watts, wasn't it? Something like that?
Well, this is just the keyer. This
that's
isn't the
just the
radio
keyer.
itself.
Okay, they have one that goes in the can that's a transmitter.
Oh, yeah, and tuna cans, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Okay,
Well,
Jeff.
all right, hey, Bob.
Yeah.
And I just want to leave this reminder with you for the benefit of the rest of the group. What's the difference between an Apple Macintosh and an Etch-a-Sketch? Well, at least on the Mac, you don't have to turn the screen upside down to erase it.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to come over here and fix this bloody Windows-based piece of trash. The Mac works all the time, starts right up, runs like crazy.
Yeah, I know.
All right, good night, guys.
Good night, Bill, and thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
appreciate
thanks-
your effort.
And
Yeah.
thanks. Is there any questions from anybody before Ken shuts this down?
Thank you very much, Ed.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I look forward to getting emails from those that want to join the class.
73, everybody. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1.
73.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.